and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. Those of you who have watched the channel for quite a bit, you should probably know by this time that I am no fan of metalcore per se. In fact, it's quite the stuff that I usually just loathe and skip over and all that stuff because it's not the thing I'm mostly fond of. However, there are exceptions to every rule, and this time I guess I have to admit that I have been wrong there all the time, or maybe this is just an exception that kind of proves the point. Even though most of the stuff might not be my cup of tea, there are some exceptions that are worthwhile listening to, even if you're not a fan of the genre as such. So let's welcome Bleed from Within from Scotland, and let this Scottish bastard tell their story what this whiskey infused tattooed or metal all about. So this band has been there quite a few years. This is their fourth album, and without further ado, let's take a look how this band's CD looks like. The album is called Era, as you know, that's the kind of a era of time or something like that. This is the CD inlay track list, so kind of a very modern vibe with this one. Basically, I usually say that when there's a sentence in the name of the band, like, you know, bleeding from within, bring me the horizon, get me some whiskey or all that stuff, it's usually the type of crap I most likely cannot pass, because I don't know what's going on with these names, but they are like a warning signs in my opinion. But like I said, been proven wrong and many times before, so positive surprise to see that a sentence band can be actually quite good. So here's the booklet from Bleed from Within, and this is filled with quite long lyrics. I mean, plenty of pages, plenty of text. These are not your typical short poems. And here is the band, kind of well, lots of photoshopping skills needed to, double faces. These guys look now more badass than they used to. When I found some older website of the band, they looked like 14 years old emo kids. So glad to see these guys have, so to speak, meant up. Anyhow, this is not to talk about your look or whatever, because I don't care. But musically, this is metalcore for sure. Started as a kind of a deathcore band, then progressed kind of onto a melodic death metal band, and now metalcore. Doesn't make any sense to me what is with this order, because this album is in fact kind of a mix of those styles. So this is kind of a modern death metal meeting with metalcore and then some gent and whatnot. Now, this would be usually, if I read on a piece of paper, like a promotional letter or whatever, this would be kind of a warning text for me. That is to say, not my cup of tea. I would stay the hell out from this kind of music. But person as I am, I give bands and people chances, and I try to feel them, open-minded, and let them disappoint me later on if that's gonna happen. But this was a positive surprise, because this album is first and foremost quite heavy and really, really well produced. And by well produced, I don't mean just that sterile plastic crap, but kind of a music that is armed with really heavy guitars, strong pounding drums, and quite a nice vocalist too. The vocalist is kind of reminding me of many metal genres, kind of a hardcore-ish type of vocal output, which is then again also reminiscent to death metal, but also kind of a trashy, commanding shouts. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but then again, what is? But I like the way that this guy is actually sounding like he's angry, he's pissed at something, and he's gonna yell to you like what to do and whatnot. It's not like my favorite way of singing, but then again, with this kind of music, what else do you expect? And he's handling his job just fine. So he's taking care of the vocals just well enough, no complaints about that. But I really must underline the fact that the guitar sound is really, really nice here. And even though it wouldn't, fit kind of a lo-fi raw black metal, this is kind of the sound that it actually many bands could, see this as a reference album. Like I said, not for every genre, but there are clearly some metal music albums, for example, some death and thrash metal bands, which actually could, benefit from having this good sound. But that's about production. Musically, this is, like I said, kind of a modern death metal, having these kind of a deathcore vibes, but there are also these softer, parts, which usually make me feel sick when I hear these kind of a metalcore bands that try to, be so goddamn screamy all the time, like if they're, spitting their guts out, like I don't know, some bad black metal artist. And then again, having these really soft and really annoying kind of a popish, sweet melodic vocals, which are just, very annoying. I don't like that contrast one bit. If I want a music heavy, I want to keep it heavy. If I want it, have it soft, like, I don't know, some pop rock or whatever, hard rock, let's keep it that way. I mean, like, I don't have anything against, heavy ballads or, hard rock ballads. They have their point. But usually when it's like going from a kind of a death metalish, side to the other end of the, I don't know, play field, it's just, it's annoying. It's as if you have a plate full of good food and some of them is actually, hot, and you're just waiting, blowing to your fork like, oh, not gonna burn my mouth. And then there's like, I don't know, some part of your potatoes or steak or whatever, which is just cold. It's like your microwave suddenly failed, and that is just plain annoying in my opinion. I know that some people will disagree, and that's totally fine, but it's not my cup of tea, if you understand what I mean. But this band is not going uber sweet. It's actually, when they're going kind of a soft, they still have this kind of an edgy way of, doing their music, and these djemjis guitars. While I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff, they make this chugging stuff quite okay actually. But most of the parts actually in this album remind me more of kind of a like modern death metal, as opposed to kind of a typical metalcore band, which is just to make youngsters and emo kids and whatnot to, clap their hands and all that stuff, which is just, in my opinion, usually mostly annoying. So Bleed From Within have something that actually is an exception, in my opinion, to metalcore music. A good album in so many ways, even though I still have some little flawed things there, in my opinion, or rather, to put it this way, which I would, replace with some better ideas. But this is just my opinion. To me, this was kind of a enlightening experience and a nice way to get to know that there are some good exceptions to the rule. So even I can find a good metalcore album, even if I'm not a fan of the genre. Anyway, challenge yourself if you think you are fit for it and go listen to this album. If not, well, your loss, not mine. See you soon with another review, and thank you for watching this one. Rauta says out.